happens when the person you love most in the world is fighting a battle you never even knew existed? How do you reconcile with the guilt, the pain, and the haunting question, why didn't I see it? For John Wellington, these questions have become an inescapable torment, playing on an endless loop in his mind. The image of his wife, Clarissa, strong, invincible, the woman who had it all, lying lifeless in their bathtub, haunts him every waking moment. He blames himself for not seeing the signs, for not recognizing the darkness that had crept into her life. But how could he have known? How could anyone have known? Clarissa was a master of disguise, hiding her pain behind a mask of perfection. To everyone around her, she was the epitome of success, a powerhouse CEO, a loving wife, a woman who could handle anything. But beneath that polished exterior was heartbreaking under the weight of unspeakable grief. It was the miscarriage that began her descent into despair. The loss of their unborn child was a wound that never healed. John had been devastated, of course, but he had thrown himself into his work, into supporting Clarissa, believing that time would heal them both. He never imagined that Clarissa's pain was so deep, so consuming, that it would eventually drive her to the brink. But the truth is, for Clarissa, the miscarriage wasn't just a loss. It was a failure to protect the life inside her, a failure to fulfill the one role she had always believed she was destined for: motherhood. This grief, this unbearable sense of failure, became the seed of her depression. She began to withdraw, slowly at first. She stopped talking about the future, about children, about anything that reminded her of what she had lost. And yet, to the outside world, she remained the same Clarissa. Successful, driven, unshakable. But inside, she was unraveling. Every day was a battle for her. A battle to get out of bed, to put on that mask, to go through the motions of a life she no longer felt connected to. She felt like a ghost, moving through a world that didn't see her, didn't know her pain. And the more she tried to bury her grief, the more it consumed her. John would often find her in the nursery they had prepared for the baby, sitting in the rocking chair, staring at the empty crib. He would ask her if she was okay, if she wanted to talk, but she always said she was fine. And he believed her. After all, Clarissa had always been the strong one, the one who held everything together. How could she not be fine? But she wasn't fine. She was drowning, and no one could see it. Not even John. He had failed her. Failed to notice the nights she spent crying alone, the days she barely ate, the way her eyes had lost their spark. And now it was too late. She was gone, and all he had left were the unanswered questions and the crushing guilt that he should have done more. But could he have done more? Could anyone have stopped the tragedy that unfolded? Depression is a silent killer, an invisible force that preys on those who feel they must carry their burdens alone. Clarissa's death was a tragedy, yes, but it was also a stark reminder of the devastating impact of unacknowledged pain, of the pressure to maintain an image of perfection, even as one's world is crumbling. As John grapples with his guilt, the weight of what he didn't see, what he didn't do, begins to crush him. But as he starts to put the pieces together, something unexpected happens, something that throws everything he thought he knew into question. Whispers begin to spread. At first, they're just that, whispers. Rumors that perhaps Clarissa's death wasn't the tragic suicide it appeared to be, that perhaps it was something far more sinister, that maybe, just maybe, it was John himself who had a hand in her death. These rumors start small, but they grow quickly, fueled by the media, by those who envied Clarissa's success, by those who had always wondered if John and Clarissa's marriage was as perfect as it seemed. And soon, they're more than just rumors. They're accusations. Friends who once offered condolences now look at John with suspicion. The media begins to dig into his past, into their marriage, looking for any hint of trouble, any clue that could suggest foul play. And as the pressure mounts, John realizes that he's not just fighting to clear his name, he's fighting for the truth about what really happened to Clarissa. But could there be any truth to these rumors? Could the man who loved her so deeply have hidden such a dark secret? Or is this simply the world's way of making sense of a tragedy that feels too senseless to bear? The story is far from over. In fact, it's only just beginning. But the real question remains: who can you trust when the lines between love and hate, life and death become blurred?